I understand the concerns of many Barbadians who may feel that they have been robbed of the opportunity of having an appropriate settlement for the reparations that ought to be made as a result of the blood, sweat and tears of Barbadians over centuries.
What's up, my beautiful people? This is your boy Stefan, your Afro-Grenadian ambassador. Welcome one and all back to my channel. To all my subscribers, viewers, returning subscribers, I appreciate all of you. To my gold member, Mr. Burn Noel, thank you very much. And also, please guys, watch all the ads that are on my video. The very existence of my channel depends upon it. It will be greatly appreciated if you watch all the ads that are on my video. And if you have not seen the video that I did, it's about 1 minute some seconds I did on becoming a member of this channel, and I have explained what the revenues will be used for. So go ahead, you can watch this video. I will put the link in the description box below. So thank you for watching all the ads. If any ads pop up, please watch all of it. In today's video, my friends, we have breaking news. The Barbadian Prime Minister, or the Prime Minister of Barbados, Mottley, has been forced by the Caribbean Reparation Movement Committee to halt payment to a British MP in the UK, paying a British MP $3 million for the plantation owned in Barbados. And we see that there was a bit of disagreement with that. You know, the Barbadian Prime Minister Mottley was forced to halt such payment. You know, halt such payment because she, I think maybe she was deciding to pay this particular MP who have inherited the Drax plantation, the Drax family plantation, who have owned such plantation since colonial times. Now, to understand the Drax plantation is a slave plantation. Okay, it was owned by the Drax family. It was built by a man called James Drax and his brother. Since the 1650s, they owned that plantation. They also own plantation in Jamaica as well. The Drax plantation is considered to be one of the biggest or the biggest plantation in Barbados. It is estimated that 30,000 enslaved Africans died on the plantation. So the plantation did more harm than good for the people of Barbados. And the enslaved Africans that were on that plantation were treated brutally. You know, they were mistreated. It was not a good time. It was a time of hell on earth for our enslaved forefathers, for mothers who were brought to the island of Barbados. Now we are seeing that the MP who have inherited, because you know he's part of the Drax generation, who have inherited that plantation, is asking for £3 million, not dollars, but £3 million for the plantation that is in Barbados. Upon such request, the Caribbean community, who is advocating for reparations, forced Mottley, say no, we will not accept this. You know, it is ridiculous that our ancestors contributed blood, sweat and tears on this plantation. They worked so hard. They worked so hard on this plantation in the hot sun. You know, brutally mistreated, did not even get a dime. They worked for free. They did not get a dime for anything. The plantation brought wealth to the Drax family at the expense of the blood, sweat, and tears of the enslaved Africans that were on that plantation. And now the Drax inheritor, or the person who now owns the Drax plantation, who is part of the Drax family, the Drax generation, is asking for £3 million. But here we are seeing that the Barbadian people is making an outcry, saying no, that is not acceptable. Instead, we paying them £3 million. They should hand over every square inch of this plantation free of cost to the Barbadian people, because of the history and what our ancestors have went through, the mistreatment, the brutal mistreatment, and the manhandling of our ancestors, what they went through on this plantation, this particular plantation. Now we are seeing that Mia Mottley is being forced to change her mind, is being forced to take a U-turn, and saying canceling this payout that she was about to make, with her government was about to make to these people. And I want to hear your thoughts. Let me hear your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you think about this? To me personally, I want to applaud the Barbadian people. Yes, I want to applaud the Barbadian people. I want to applaud the Caribbean community who is a part of the reparations committee, advocating for reparations for all of the Caribbean that have put pressure on Mia Mottley in not making such payment to the MP that have now owned, the British MP that have now owned that plantation. The Barbadian people is saying they owe us more than anything else than we owe them. It should be a part of our reparation that they give us that land free. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. So let's get right into this article that have highlighted the controversy when it comes to the Drax plantation in Barbados. Okay, according to this report, the Prime Minister of Barbados, Mia Mottley, has halted plans for a multi-million-pound payout to the British Conservative MP Richard Drax. So that's a guy named who now owns the Drax plantation in Barbados. He is a British Conservative MP in Britain. His name is Richard Drax, for the purchase of 53 acres, a whooping 53 acres of the Drax Hall plantation. So 53 acres is a massive plantation. That's a big plantation. It's a massive piece of land, which he owns, one single individual. Can you imagine that? As revealed in the Observer last Sunday, the payout plan had angered those involved in the Caribbean reparations movement. So the plan to pay this particular individual £3 million have angered the Caribbean reparations movement, who said Drax, the MP for South Dorset, should hand over all or part of the 617-acre plantation to the people of Barbados. So the reparations movement is saying, no, this is not acceptable. This MP, who is Richard Drax, he should consider instead the Barbadian people, because it is the Barbadian people, because at the end of the day, it is taxpayers' money going to contributing to that. Instead of the Barbadian people, pay £3 million to this single individual for something that he have hijacked, something that have contributed to the wealth of the Drax family, to pay £3 million. He's asking the Barbadian people, who are descendants of African enslaved people who have worked hard on that plantation, brutally mistreated, died on the plantation, asking them to pay him and the Drax family £3 million is not acceptable, says the Caribbean community. Instead, he should hand over all or part of the 17 acre plantation, as they say, to the people of Barbados. In a 7-minute broadcast to the nation released on YouTube on Tuesday, Mottley explained the government U-turn and said she had decided to pause the purchase to allow further discussion. So she's coming under pressure. All right. So the plan to pay out £3 million to this single individual has come to a pause. She added, "I understand the concern of many Barbadians who may feel they have been robbed of the opportunity of having an appropriate settlement for reparations that ought to be made as a result of blood, sweat, and tears of the Barbadians over centuries. This is not a matter we take lightly." Trevor Prescott, the MP for St. Michael East in Barbados and the lead for reparations on the island, believes his country should not pay a cent for the Drax halt. Okay, so the Barbadian people is saying, we don't owe this man anything. We don't owe the Drax family anything. We should not pay a cent to these people. They owe us. They are the ones to reparate us. They are the ones to compensate us for what our forefathers, our foremothers have went through on that plantation. He welcomed Mottley's announcement, but he expressed concern over the word pause, saying, "I hope I don't see a renewal of this commercial relationship with Richard." He further stated, "I have been getting calls from around the world that I would like to thank the Observer for bringing this to the attention of people in Barbados, the African diaspora, and our friends in England who support reparations. People see the relevance of the damage inflicted on African people. We are the people who were described as chattel slaves. Why should we pay those whose family has enslaved us? Very, very good question. The taxpayers of Barbados have risen up to defend their money, because at the end of the day, is the Barbadian people that have to pay this man, and it is the same Barbadian people who are descendants of African people who have contributed to the wealth of this plantation and this particular individual and the Drax family becoming rich at the expense of this blood, sweat, and tears. Yes, because there were days, history says that the enslaved people that was going through so much that all they could have done was cry and think about their homeland, cry and console themselves. The Draxes have had enough from us. Powerful statement. The article continues saying, Drax, who is worth more than $150 million, was left the plantation in his late father's will in 2017. The ancestors built a sugar plantation in the mid-17th century and worked it with enslaved people for 200 years. After the abolition of slavery in 1834, the family received more than £4,200 in compensation, a huge sum at the time. Can you imagine this, brothers and sisters? These people are being compensated for what? Let me know in the comment section below and what you think. Okay, and last piece of the article says, in October 2022, Drax went to Barbados to meet Mottley. It is understood he was asked to hand over all or a substantial part of Drax Hall plantation as reparations. Yes, I think that this particular man, should hand over not part but all of it. The Barbadian, according to history and what the the Barbadian African ancestors, enslaved people, went through on that plantation, then he shouldn't even consider of selling this plantation. He should give it over freely to the Barbadian people. But there's a mixture of feeling in this. And let me play it for you what the Barbadian Prime Minister have said, which is Mia Mottley.
There's a lot of conversation recently about the acquisition of land at Drax Hall, 50 acres to be precise, for the purpose of low-income and lower-middle-income housing by the Minister of Housing. I understand the concerns of many Barbadians who may feel that they have been robbed of the opportunity of having an appropriate settlement for the reparations that ought to be made as a result of the blood, sweat and tears of Barbadians over centuries. I want to make it clear that this is not a matter that we take lightly. Indeed, the Tenantries Freehold Purchase Act was enacted and dealt with by successive governments because we recognize the need for the government of Barbados, whoever that government is, to be able to make reparations for people whose ancestors were forced to live in some of the harshest conditions and were deprived of all opportunities to be able to make the best for themselves and their families. So we get the concept of reparations both domestically, but also, as we have been doing, internationally. The reality is that we have been at the forefront of making the call for reparations against those who contributed to the decimation of this country and the lives of people, while at the same time enriching themselves and building out the Industrial Revolution and that which has now become the climate crisis caused by the greenhouse gas emissions coming from the Industrial Revolution. So we get it. But at the same time, I need to remind us, Barbados is a country that is governed by the rule of law. We have never made it a habit, or nor am I aware of any example where we have expropriated people's land. When people have land that is a subject of compulsory acquisition, by law we are due to pay for it. At the same time, that does not preclude us from going aggressively to be able to pursue, both through our advocacy and, as we are seeking to do in recent times, through the preparation of what are our legal options with respect to being able to take action not only against the owners of Drax Plantation, but also against all others who have contributed to the condition of this country being, regrettably, one of the worst examples of modern racism in the Americas.
So yes, guys, let me hear in the comment section below what you think about what Prime Minister Mia Mottley have said. Do you agree with her? Do you disagree with her? Let me hear what are your thoughts about her statement. But what I'm gathering from the comments of Prime Minister Mia Mottley is that, she do understand. She understand the outcry of the people of Barbados, that not having to pay this sum of money to these people because of, at the expense of what their ancestors have gone through. She understand that these people used the African enslaved people in a brutal way to enrich themselves. She get that. But on the other hand, she's saying is that Barbados is governed by the rule of law, that the law requires that when land is owned by someone, it doesn't matter who they are, they must be paid. They must be paid. If that land need to be purchased, that land need to be owned by another party, individual, that party or individual or individuals must pay that person. So that is what, this is the mixture of feeling that is coming from Prime Minister Mia Mottley, that she agree with the Barbadian people at some extent, but on the other hand, she disagrees that taking land from people in an aggressive way, because she described the Caribbean community or reparations community, their proposal of giving over that land to the people of Barbados, all of it or part of it, she described it as somewhat aggressive. So let me know if you agree with her. Let me know if you disagree. Let me hear your thoughts on all of this. So yes, guys, the calls for reparations continues. The fight, the struggle for reparations continues. And I am happy that the Barbadian people are putting their voice to this. They have always put their voice to this, especially when it comes to the Drax plantation. All right. Thank you for watching. See you next time. God bless you. Take care.